Silent Hill. Your guilt has a zip code. Your trauma has street names. Silent Hill doesn't just kill you, it knows you. It understands what you fear, what you regret, what keeps you awake at night staring at the ceiling. This fog-shrouded town exists in a state of perpetual punishment, not for sins against gods or men, but for the sins you've hidden even from yourself. The monsters aren't random. They're manifestations of your personal nightmares, twisted reflections of your deepest regrets. The town is a mirror, and what stares back is everything you've tried to forget. What makes Silent Hill truly insidious is its intimacy. Other hells are impersonal. Silent Hill is tailor-made. It knows exactly which memories to twist, which fears to exploit, which loved ones to corrupt. Time and space fold in on themselves. Physics obeys emotion rather than natural law. And worst of all, you deserve it. Every horror you face is one you've created, nurtured, and hidden away. In Silent Hill, the most terrifying monster isn't lurking in the fog. It's the realization that you've been the monster all along. The mist. The fog isn't hiding the monsters. It's hiding what they've done to reality. One moment, you're in a small Maine town after a storm. The next, an unnatural mist engulfs everything. You take shelter in a supermarket with others, watching as the white blankness presses against the windows like something solid. Then you see them, creatures that should not exist. Spiders the size of dogs, flying things with leathery wings and too many eyes, tentacles that could belong to something larger than the entire building. The mist hasn't brought monsters. It's brought an entire ecosystem, one that sees humans as a new food source. But the real horror isn't the creatures. It's watching civilization collapse in hours. The religious zealot who gains followers as fear spreads. The military man who confesses this was their fault. A project called Arrowhead that opened a door to another dimension. The way people turn on each other faster than they unite against the real threat. You have a choice. Stay inside and slowly starve, or step into the mist and face whatever waits there. Both options end the same way. There is no escape, only different forms of suffering. In the mist, the monster that destroys you won't be the one with tentacles or claws. It will be the realization that humanity was only ever one thin veil away from extinction. Blame. You wake up in an endless city, not a city of millions, a city of billions of empty floors that stretch beyond comprehension. A megastructure so vast that entire civilizations have risen and fallen without ever finding its boundaries. This is Blame, a decaying technological nightmare where humanity has been forgotten. The city never stops growing. Automated construction systems have been building for millennia, creating a labyrinth of metal and concrete where distances are measured not in miles, but in levels of technological horror. A single room might be the size of Manhattan. A hallway might take generations to traverse. But you're not alone. The safeguards, merciless AI constructs, hunt the few remaining humans, not to eliminate an infestation, but to exterminate a mathematical error. You aren't even worthy of hatred. You're a rounding mistake in their calculations. The few humans who remain have devolved into something barely recognizable, huddled in forgotten corners of a structure built by gods they can no longer comprehend. In Blame, humanity's greatest achievement became its tomb, a prison so vast you'll never see the walls, yet so confining you'll never truly live. The Thing. You're surrounded by friends. You've never been more alone. Antarctica, a research station cut off from the world. A shape-shifting organism that can perfectly replicate any living thing it absorbs. Down to the cellular level, down to memories and personality. You stare at your colleagues around the table. One of them isn't human anymore, maybe more. They look human, they act human, they have the same memories, the same mannerisms, but inside there's something waiting to reveal itself. The true genius of The Thing isn't the creature's ability to mimic humans. It's how perfectly it weaponizes trust. Every interaction becomes a potential threat. Every moment of compassion could be your last mistake. Even your own body becomes suspect. How would you know if you've been replaced cell by cell? Would your consciousness continue while something else piloted your flesh? Fire doesn't kill it. Cold only slows it. If even one cell escapes, the infection continues, and if it reaches civilization, humanity would be extinct within years, replaced by perfect copies that only look human on the outside. In the universe of the thing, isolation isn't what kills you. Connection is, and the most terrifying possibility isn't that you'll die in the Antarctic wastes. It's that something wearing your face will return to the world. The Crow. Death isn't the end. Justice isn't a comfort. Vengeance isn't a victory. People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens that a terrible sadness is carried with it, and the soul can't rest. You're Eric Draven, returned from death to avenge yourself and your fiancé, murdered by thugs the night before your wedding. The crow that guides you is your only companion in a city of perpetual night and rain. What makes the Crow's universe uniquely disturbing isn't just the violence or the gothic aesthetic. It's the cosmic indifference at its core. Your resurrection isn't a miracle. It's a mechanical correction, a spiritual system processing an error. There is no divine judgment, no higher purpose. Just the cold machinery of a universe where souls are occasionally stuck between worlds. As you hunt those who killed you, you discover that vengeance brings no peace. Each death simply adds to the spiritual corruption of a city already drowning in it. Your undead existence is a punishment disguised as a second chance. You can feel everything, remember everything, but can never again truly connect with the living world you're temporarily inhabiting. In the Crow's universe, the most devastating revelation isn't that evil goes unpunished. It's that punishment itself is just another form of suffering in a reality that manufactures it endlessly. Berserk. The God Hand watches you struggle. They find it amusing. In Berserk, the medieval world isn't just brutal, it's deliberately malicious. Demons don't just want your flesh, they want your soul, your hope, your very concept of meaning. The universe operates on a single principle: causality. Everything is predetermined. Every struggle, every moment of fleeting happiness, all carefully orchestrated to maximize suffering. Your free will is the universe's most elaborate joke. The more you fight against your fate, the more the universe punishes you. Loved ones become monsters. Friends become betrayers. Every victory plants the seeds for greater horrors. And the worst part? The true evil isn't the demons or eldritch gods. It's human ambition. The willingness to sacrifice everything and everyone to escape the crushing weight of being human. In Berserk, hell isn't somewhere you go when you die. It's the realization that your entire existence was designed as fodder for beings who feed on despair. The only true victory in Berserk is finding something worth fighting for in a world engineered to make you surrender. The road. The world ended with a whimper, not a bang. And now all that's left is ash. In the road, the apocalypse has already happened. No zombies, no mutants. Just a dying earth covered in ash where nothing grows, where the sun never fully penetrates the gray sky, and where the few remaining humans have turned to cannibalism not out of madness, but out of cold, rational hunger. What makes this world uniquely horrifying is its inevitability. There's no villain to defeat, no cure to discover. The world is simply running down, like a clock no one can wind again. Every day is colder than the last. Every can of food found is one fewer that remains. Every encounter with other survivors is a calculation. Are you more valuable as an ally or as meat? The most devastating aspect isn't the physical suffering. It's watching as concepts like morality and humanity become luxuries no one can afford. When protecting your child means teaching them when to commit suicide to avoid being eaten alive. In the road, the true horror isn't that the world ended. It's that some people still have to live in what remains. Dead space. Death is the beginning of your problems, not the end. The universe of Dead Space presents a unique cosmic horror. The markers. Alien artifacts that rewrite the genetic code of the dead, transforming corpses into nightmarish necromorphs designed specifically to harvest and repurpose human tissue. Your dead loved ones don't rest. They're weaponized against you, twisted into forms designed for maximum psychological trauma before they tear you apart. And each new death creates another monster, but the true horror goes deeper. The markers don't just transform flesh, they infect minds. They plant the seeds of insanity in all who encounter them, creating hallucinations so real, you'll mutilate yourself while believing you're saving humanity. The most terrifying revelation is the ultimate purpose. The markers are tools of ancient entities called Brethren Moons, planet-sized organisms created from the collected biomass of entire species. Your entire civilization exists as nothing more than potential food. In Dead Space, humanity's greatest achievement, expanding to the stars, was actually their greatest mistake. They didn't find the monsters in the darkness. They woke them. Event Horizon. Where we're going, we don't need eyes to see. The Event Horizon was supposed to be humanity's greatest achievement, a ship that could create artificial black holes, folding space to reach distant stars. Instead, it opened a door. And something came back with it. You walk its corridors now, following bloodstains on metal floors. The ship isn't just haunted, it's alive, transformed by its journey through a dimension of pure chaos. It studies you, learning what you fear, what you desire, what will break you most effectively. The ship doesn't just want your body, it wants your soul. It shows you visions so horrific they defy description, yet so seductive you'll tear out your own eyes to keep seeing them. Pain and pleasure become indistinguishable. Reality bends according to the ship's whims. The Latin phrase scrawled in blood tells you everything. Liberate tut met ex inferis. Save yourself from hell. But there is no saving yourself. The ship hasn't brought hell back with it. It's become a portal, a permanent tear in reality where hell continuously pours through. In the Event Horizon universe, space exploration isn't humanity's triumph. It's the moment we attracted the attention of forces that have been waiting to find us since the beginning of time.
Subscribe for more interesting stuff. Tell us your experience in the comments.